Welcome to another day of math class. This is Miss Harvey, and today is Wednesday, May 13th, and we're going to be doing math together. I'm going to tell you what you need to be prepared for this video and give you a chance to grab those materials. So, of course, you need to have this video open. You need to have a piece of scratch paper and a writing utensil to use. And separate from this video, you need to have open in another tab the packet of work for today. To do that, you'll open up Distance Learning for 5th grade, click on Week 9, click on Math Class, and then today is Wednesday, so you'll open up Wednesday's lesson. This way you'll be able to view the problem separate from the video so that you can do the work without having to review the answers. So before we start for today's problem-solving task, we're going to go over a problem from yesterday's quiz that we had trouble with so that we can feel more confident. So today we're going to be reviewing the question that asked whether or not this was an expression or an equation. And it says 16 equals 10 divided by y. So this is an equation because an equation is a number sentence that has an equal sign, and this has an equal sign. So I think that a lot of us weren't really taking a careful look at this to determine whether or not it was an equation or an expression. But if you forgot what an equation was, notice that you have the unit notes available to you each day directly below the link for the videos. So if you don't remember what something is, you should check your notes, and you should also make sure that you are reading these problems carefully. Because this has an equal sign in it, it's going to be an equation. For today's problem-solving task, I want you to start off by doing only number 1, and then come back to this video to review number 1. So do only number 1. Pause the video here to do that now. So for number 1 on the problem-solving task, we are asked to measure the power in operations. So to do that, we were given the number 100, and then we used the 4 different operations and changed it by the same amount, 4. So we did 100 plus 4, 100 minus 4, 100 times 4, and 100 divided by 4. The answers to those expressions are right above, and they should not be of any surprise. So we need to use those answers to figure out which of our operations have the most power. So each expression started with 100, and based on the operation, it changed. So I noticed that when we did addition and subtraction, the number changed by 4. Meaning that 100 plus 4 became 104, and the difference between 100 and 4 is 4. 100 minus 4 is 96, and the difference between 100 and 96 is 4. So I noticed that addition and subtraction had the same impact or the same power, because when you added by 4 and when you subtracted by 4, you changed the number 100 the same amount. So here we can say that addition and subtraction both have the same amount of impact or the same level of power. Now, let's think about the way that multiplication and division affected the number 100. Based on the answers to those expressions, which operations would you say are more powerful? Addition and subtraction or multiplication and division? So when we multiplied 100 by 4, we ended up with 400. And when we divided 100 by 4, we got 25. So the difference between 400 and 100 is 300 units. And the difference between 100 and 25 is 75 units. I noticed that when we multiplied by 4, our number got 4 times larger, and that when we divided by 4, our number got 4 times smaller. So, which operations do you think are more powerful? The operations addition and subtraction that changed our number by 4 units, or the operations multiplication and division that made our number 4 times bigger and 4 times smaller? Here, multiplication and division are more powerful than addition and subtraction. Both multiplication and division changed the number 100 by a factor of 4. Multiplying by 4 made our number 4 times bigger, and dividing by 4 made our number 4 times smaller. That's different and more powerful and a bigger change than when we just added and subtracted by 4. Because when we added by 4, our number only changed by 4 units. It got 4 units bigger. And when we subtracted by 4, our number got 4 units smaller. And we know that multiplying by 4 and dividing by 4 is going to change a number a lot more than adding or subtracting by 4. Addition and subtraction are less powerful than multiplication and division, but addition and subtraction are equally powerful to each other. So I'm going to put an equal sign between addition and subtraction because those two operations are equally powerful. And then I'm going to put the inequality sign that shows that they are less powerful than multiplication and division. But we know that multiplication and division are equally powerful to each other. So that's important to remember. Addition and subtraction have the same amount of power, but they are less powerful than multiplication and division. And multiplication and division also have the same amount of power. So now that we talked that through, I want you to try to do number 2, both parts A and B. What you'll notice in number 2 is that there are no parentheses. So based on the conversation we just had, I want you to determine what operations you should do first and how you should solve. Come back to the video when you're done solving number 2, A and B. So let's go ahead and discuss how to solve those problems. For part A, we were given the following expression. I noticed that in this expression, the operations happening are addition and multiplication. Based on what we talked about in part 1, which operation is more powerful? Because multiplication is more powerful, we should solve that first. So we are going to do 9 times 2 first, because whenever we're solving these expressions that don't have parentheses, we'll solve the strongest or the most powerful operation first. 9 times 2 got me 18. So I rewrote the next line of my work as 8 plus 18. And then I finish solving by adding 8 and 18, and I get 26. Let's try with part B. Part B, similar to part A, does not have any parentheses. So when we don't see any parentheses, our first job should be underline the operations that are happening. This way, you give yourself a clue of what to do first. I see that there's subtraction, division, and addition. Which operation should I solve first? I should do division first because it is more powerful than addition and subtraction. So I'm going to solve 10 divided by 5 first. The next line of my work should be 36 minus 2, because 10 divided by 5 is 2, plus 3. Now I have addition and subtraction left over. What did we say about addition and subtractions power. We said that addition and subtraction are equally powerful. So because they have the same amount of power, we are just going to work from left to right. So I should solve this starting at the left and work my way over to the right. 36 minus 2 gets me 34. So I rewrite my expression 34 plus 3. And the last line of my work should have my final answer. 34 plus 3 is 37. So now I want you to recap. What did we just learn about solving expressions that do not have parentheses? We learned that when there is no parentheses in an expression, you should solve the most powerful operations first. So if there's multiplication and division, you should solve those first. And then, if you're left with an operation that does not have multiplication or division and just has addition and subtraction, you should work from left to right because addition and subtraction are equally powerful. Last, for our problem-solving task, you're going to do number 3, parts A and B. You're going to compare the two expressions and write about it. That means telling me what is similar between these two expressions and what is different. And then you're going to solve them. Pause the video here to do that now. What did you notice was similar and different about these two expressions? Well, I noticed that both of these expressions had the same numbers. They both have 2, 4, 3, 6, and they both have the same operations: addition, multiplication, and then addition again. What's different about them is that A has parentheses and B doesn't have parentheses. Why does that matter? Well, the expressions are different because the first one with parentheses tells us what to do first. Because it has two sets of parentheses, we know that we have to solve those two sets of parentheses first before we do the middle operation, which is multiplication. But in the second expression, where there are no parentheses, we can't use that rule because we don't have any parentheses to do first. So that's where we have to use what we learned today. The most powerful operation happens first, and then once we have only addition left, we work from left to right. So let's go ahead and solve A together. For A, there are two sets of parentheses, so I solve both sets of parentheses first. And I start with the one on the left. 2 plus 4 gets me 6. And then I rewrite the rest of my expression. Notice that I'm solving step by step and I'm not trying to solve all at once. Next, 3 plus 6 is in parentheses, so I solve that. And my next step is 6 is written as 6 times 9 because 3 plus 6 is 9. And then last, I finish solving by multiplying 6 and 9 to get 54. When there are parentheses, I solve normally by solving the parentheses first, and then I work my way through the rest of the expression. For part B, there are no parentheses. I know that there's addition, multiplication, and addition. I should do the multiplication first, because multiplication is more powerful than addition. So I'm going to do 4 times 3, and I'll substitute in 12. I'll rewrite the expression as 2 plus 12 plus 6. Now that I only have addition left, I can solve from left to right. 2 plus 12 is 14, so my next line should be 14 plus 6. Last, I finish solving by adding 14 and 6 to get 20. So now we're going to take some notes on everything we've learned from our problem-solving task today. Today we learned that multiplication and division are equally powerful and are the most powerful operations. Addition and subtraction are less powerful operations. and they are equally powerful to each other. If there are no parentheses in an expression, multiplication and division come before addition and subtraction because they are more powerful. Parentheses still tells you what to do first if you see them. So if you see parentheses, you still do that first. And when you only have addition and subtraction, you work from left to right. Pause the video here and jot down your notes, and then come back to the video when you're ready. Now we're going to do some practice with guided practice. So go ahead and do numbers 1, 2, and 3, and then come back to the video when you're ready to discuss your work. Okay, so as we do these practice problems, I'm going to make sure that I'm marking them up so that I have reminders for myself of what to do. So in this first expression, I see that there's division and addition. Which operation is more powerful? Division is more powerful, so I am going to make sure that I do the division first. 12 divided by 4 is 3, so my next line will be 3 plus 9. And then I finish solving by adding 3 and 9 to get a final answer of 12. Notice that I am putting reminders of myself of what the operations are and what I'm going to do first, and this helps me to not make any silly mistakes. Number 2 says 9 minus 2 divided by 4. I see subtraction and I see division. Which operation is more powerful? Division is more powerful, so I should divide first. 12 divided by 4 is 3. So the next line I'll rewrite 9 minus, and then I'll plug in 3. And last, I'll solve by subtracting 9 minus 3 equals 6. For number 3, there are parentheses. So whenever there are parentheses, I know I should still do parentheses first. So I'll start with the parentheses on the left. 13 times 4 is 52. So I'll substitute in 52 and keep everything else the same. Then I'll work on the next set of parentheses, 10 plus 5. 10 plus 5 is 15. So I'll rewrite 52 minus and plug in 15. Then I finish solving by subtracting, and my final answer is 37. Next, go ahead and try the practice packet problems. Come back when you're ready to discuss your answers. Next, we'll go over a few of the practice problems, and you'll check the rest against the video when we are done. So we're going to start by going over number 2. Number 2 gave you the following expression. So by taking a look at this expression, what did you notice? Right, I noticed that this expression had parentheses. So whenever an expression has parentheses, we'll always start there. So we're going to do 10 minus 2, and that gives us 8. We keep everything else the same and only plug in 8. So now we have 6 plus 8 times 2. The operations we have left are addition and multiplication. Which operation is more powerful? Correct, multiplication is more powerful, so we need to do that first. 8 times 2 is 16, so the next line of my work, I'll plug in 16. 6 plus 16. And last, I'll add those two together to get my final answer of 22. For number 3, you are asked to explain how the two expressions above have different answers. And it relates back to what we talked about in the problem-solving task. Even though the expressions have the same numbers and the same operations, they are different because one expression has parentheses and those parentheses tell you what to do first. So notice that having parentheses versus not having parentheses gets you two different answers. So that's why it's really important to pay attention and read the expressions carefully and solve them correctly. When you have parentheses, you solve what's in the parentheses first. When you don't have parentheses, you solve the stronger operations first. And then, if you only have addition and subtraction left, you work your way from left to right. Next, we'll go over number 7. Number 7 was 11 plus 3 times 11 minus 5. What operations are happening in number 7? There's addition, multiplication, and subtraction. Which of these operations is most powerful? Multiplication is most powerful, so that's what we should do first. 3 times 11 is 33. So I will rewrite my expression and plug in 33. I'll write 11 plus 33 minus 5. Now all we have left is addition and subtraction. So how should we solve? Right, when we only have addition and subtraction, we solve from left to right. So first I will do 11 plus 33, and that gets me 44. I'll rewrite the expression as 44 minus 5. And then I will solve my last step. 44 minus 5 is equal to 39. Notice that I am taking these problems step by step, and I am writing a separate line for each thing that I solve. I'm not trying to solve everything in one step. I'm not rushing through my work. My work is very organized and very neat. And that is what is helping me to be accurate. Last, we'll do number 8. Number 8 is asking what is the second step in solving each expression. So, to be clear, this problem is asking you, what are you going to do second as you are solving? So let's go over. We start with our expression. We have addition, multiplication, and subtraction happening. We know that multiplication is more powerful, so we'll do the multiplication first. So the first step is to do 9 times 4. And then we'll rewrite our expression. 4 plus 36 minus 16. So now, to help us answer our question, we need to figure out what is the second thing you will do to solve. Well, now we only have addition and subtraction, so I know I should solve from left to right. So the second step in solving would be to do 4 plus 36. So our answer would be C, because the second thing we solved was 4 plus 36. Today's exit ticket quiz secret code is CRUNCH, C-R-U-N-C-H, C-R-U-N-C-H. So for the remaining problems, you're going to go ahead and check your work against mine to make sure that you had the correct answers. It's important that you check your work for all of the problems that we did not just go over, so that you can make sure that you're solving these correctly. And if you have questions on specific practice problems, make sure that you write a note next to that number and then reach out to your teacher with any questions you have. Your teacher will be able to conference with you, and then you'll be more prepared to do the exit ticket quiz. Once you're done checking your work, you should move on to the exit ticket. Make sure to use your notes and make sure to use all of the work that we just did together in the practice problems and in the PST to help you.